The temperature is 20 below zero. You shut the engine down, pull the sleeper curtain closed, and climb into bed. Across the road, a hotel sign glows. $30 cash in your wallet. A warm lobby 10 minutes away. You don't even think about walking over. To an outsider, that looks like a person who can handle anything. But the first clue it's something else is buried in a tax document. The IRS, the U.S. tax agency, put a special number in the tax code for truck drivers. It's a flat $80 a day for meals, no receipts required. It's called a per diem, a daily meal allowance. You'll find it right in the IRS tax guide. That $80 only makes sense against one quiet fact. The government already assumes a man who lives on the road is going to be sleeping somewhere that isn't a hotel. The tax code was built around a driver sleeping in his truck. A hotel room is a new extra bill on top of a life that's already planned around the bed in your truck. So that small piece of the common guess, that it's about money, already points towards something deeper. But let's run through all the guesses people make and see where each one fails. Those guesses set up the real map we're about to follow. The first guess is that it's cheaper. And sure, a hotel costs cash. But that answer fails when you think about losing your parking spot or leaving a trailer alone. A trailer with no one inside can be stolen. Those are two costs we'll put numbers on in a minute. The second guess is that drivers are just tough and keep going. That picture is decades out of date. By the year 2000, 70% of new trucks were ordered with sleepers, built-in sleeping compartments. And today's cabs come with a fridge, a microwave, entertainment, climate control. This isn't a frozen steel box anymore. It's a small, rolling apartment. The third guess is that the company won't pay. And that one is true, but not the way people think. Most carriers, trucking companies, simply do not pay back a routine hotel night because the truck itself is the place to sleep they already gave you. That's just how the industry works, not because the company is cheap. Each guess has some truth in it, but none explains the full situation. That situation includes the clock, the federal limit on daily driving hours, the tax code, the parking war, the theft risk, and the comfort you already have in your own rig. The first real reason sits in a federal rule most people don't know exists. It turns the sleeper berth from a bed into a kind of pause button on your driving clock, the federal limit on daily driving hours, and a hotel simply doesn't give you that button. Federal hours of service rules say a driver must take 10 straight hours off duty after his drive time runs out. But the sleeper berth rule lets you split that rest into two parts. One part is at least 8 hours in the bed. The other part is shorter, off duty or in the passenger seat. Neither part uses up your 14-hour driving window. The 14-hour limit on duty you're allowed each day. A 2020 update gave even more flexibility, adding a 7-3 split. 7 hours in the bed, then 3 hours off duty. Think of it like saving your drive time. The berth lets you freeze the clock so you can start it later, right when the dock door opens. A hotel resets the whole 10-hour counter at once and you lose that ability to split it. Picture this, 2 in the morning, a dim warehouse lot. Your appointment is at 6 a.m. and your drive window is tight. In the required daily log, you change your duty status to sleeper berth. You log into the sleeper berth for exactly 8 hours. That counts as your long rest. You've still got 2 hours of off-duty time you can use later in the day. When the dock opens, you're legal, fresh, and loading, while a hotel across town would have burned your whole 10-hour break and left you rushing to fix your schedule. Your bed is a legal tool that protects your drive time. A hotel gives up that flexibility right when you need it most. That's the clock, an invisible legal structure that pulls you back toward the bed. Now add the second piece, the money picture the federal government already drew around this exact fact. That $80 a day per diem? Here's why it matters. The government would not give a flat, receipt-free meal allowance this large to workers who are also expected to pay for a hotel every night. Some drivers own their truck, owner-operators. That number only exists because the government knows a driver's sleeping place is the sleeper cab he's already paying to own and fuel. For an owner-operator, that $80 is a direct tax deduction. For a company driver, many carriers copy it with a per diem pay program, paying part of the wages as tax-free money. Same logic. Either way, the money model of a driver's life does not plan for a hotel room every night. The tax code itself shows that the cab is the place you are expected to sleep. A hotel is an extra cost on top of an income already set up around a free bed. So far, the clock says stay, and the tax code says we already planned on you staying. But the next piece of the picture is the one you feel every night when you're looking for a place to park and sleep. Here are the numbers that change everything. Studies show that there is roughly 1 legal parking space for every 11 trucks that need one at night. 98% of drivers say they have trouble finding that spot. The average driver loses 56 minutes a day just searching. That's more than 4.5 hours a week, wasted and unpaid, on the shoulder or circling truck stops. Add it up over a year, and you've lost about $4,600 in wages. You've also lost nearly 9,300 revenue miles. That is, miles that would have earned income that never got driven. When you claim a spot at early evening, you've just won the most valuable piece of real estate on your night. Leaving it for a hotel is like walking out of the last parking space at a sold-out stadium and hoping it'll still be there after the game. It won't be. In a place with very few parking spots, your spot is more valuable than a hotel key. Leaving it risks a night of circling that could cost you tomorrow's drive time. That hotel room just cost you the one thing you fought hardest for. Have you ever lost a spot and spent the next hour moving slowly through a rest area ramp, watching every hole fill? Drop that exit number in the comments. That's how I'll know who actually made it this deep into the video. And if you haven't clicked subscribe yet, now's the time, so you don't miss future videos. Now add the next piece. What keeps a driver's eyes open at night, even after his shift? Leaving your truck alone while you sleep somewhere else isn't just an inconvenience. It's dangerous for your income and your job. Cargo theft is exploding. At a U.S. Senate hearing in February of 2025, the police chief of a major railway said that strategic cargo theft has jumped 1,500% in just the last 3 years. That's a staggering increase. CargoNet, the National Theft Database, tracked over 3,600 incidents in 2024, up 27% from the year before. That's a sharp rise. The average loss per incident, $202,000. And 2025 is on pace to hit over $725 million in total losses. A loaded trailer sitting alone in a dark hotel lot with no driver or fence is an easy target. But the same trailer at a lit truck stop with a driver nearby is much safer. No study compares the exact rates, but the drivers who run these roads will tell you the math is simple. Your presence is the cheapest theft protection you've got. Hold on to that. If you leave your load with no one watching overnight, a hotel stay becomes a gamble. It's a bet worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and no one who tracks these numbers wants to take it. So far, the clock, the tax code, the parking war, and the theft risk all push a driver toward the bed. But the decision becomes a lot easier when you look at one more thing. All those reasons make staying sound like something you just have to do, like you're giving up comfort for safety. But the cab stopped being a sacrifice a long time ago. By 2000, 7 out of 10 new trucks rolled out with a factory sleeper. Today's rigs are equipped like small RVs. They come with a mini fridge, a microwave, a mount for a flat-screen TV, and a power box that gives you standard wall outlets and enough plugs for a laptop and a coffee maker. But the real improvement is the auxiliary power unit, the APU. That small, quiet engine under the bed runs heat, air conditioning, and electricity without running the big motor. An idling diesel, that is a diesel engine running while the truck is parked, burns about 0.8 gallons an hour. An APU saves a driver 900 to 1,400 gallons a year and keeps the cab comfortable through a 10-hour break in any weather. And a mix of state anti-idling laws, Virginia's 10-minute limit, Connecticut's fines that can reach $25,000, makes the APU a must-have, not a choice. Picture the cab at night, 20 below, wind blowing hard. Inside, a driver in a t-shirt watches a show on a mounted screen, the APU running quietly, a fridge nearby. Forget hardship. That's a small apartment on wheels, parked and safe. Your rig can give you the same warmth and cooling as a hotel, only it's already paid for, and it comes with the load and the parking spot built in. The popular idea that drivers suffer through extreme cold is just wrong. They're not suffering. They're running a weather-protected operation. None of this says a driver never sets foot in a hotel. There are a few times where a room key makes sense, and naming them is exactly what separates a real map from a video that pretends the world is simple. First, team drivers. 2 drivers sharing one truck and taking turns driving. That truck barely stops rolling. A hotel is pointless. Second, home time. You're not paying for a hotel when your own bed is the whole point. The real exceptions are forced multi-day stops. For example, a major breakdown that puts the truck in the shop, a customs hold that drags on, or a weather shutdown that closes the highway for 2 days. In those cases, some carriers will put a driver in a room. Extreme cold almost never sends a driver to a hotel. At 50 below, with a trailer full of electronics, you are not leaving that load without anyone watching in a blizzard. The cab with the APU is the safest warm place you've got. The dark and the cold are almost never a reason to walk away from a rig that's already your safest, cheapest shelter. All those reasons, the clock, the money, the parking, the risk, the comfort, point to a quiet fact that changes the whole story the outside world tells. A driver's nightly decision isn't automatic. It's a list he checks in the dark. Does moving cost me the flexibility to split my rest? Does it burn cash I didn't plan for? Do I lose my only parking spot? Do I leave my load with no one watching in a year when theft is up 1,500%? And does the comfort I'd get from a hotel even be better than the rig I'm already in? The answer to all 5 is almost always, it's worse. The hotel looks like a luxury he can't afford. But the real problem is that it's a mistake he can't afford. This is the map every driver carries in his head. A map of decisions, not just roads. And the people who run that calculation every night, in every kind of weather, deserve more respect than a world that thinks they're just sleeping in a truck without comfort. Forget the idea of being tough. This is the same math every driver does without writing it down. The hidden framework that makes a rig more than a ride. The sleeper cab is the command center of a life built around hard numbers, and the hotel is the option that costs you more than it gives. What's one piece of that nightly list you'd add? A reason you stay with a truck that only another driver would understand? Drop it below. We read every single comment, and the best answers shape the next video. And if you're not subscribed yet, consider this your fuel receipt. Click that button so you don't get lost and end up at a hotel by mistake. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. That's our way of saying stay safe.